The U.S. AFRICOM commander visits Somalia to call for the intensification of war against the ISIS affiliate in the area. Now, I know what some of you all might be thinking. Yes, he went to go visit Puntland, and yeah, Puntland just happens to be where a lot of gold is. And yeah, Puntland is also where a lot of the black market gold is sold to the UAE. But that doesn't mean this meeting wasn't totally and entirely about liberating Somalia from ISIS. It could totally just be coincidental that the majority of the strikes from the U.S. have already been in Puntland, and ISIS just so happened to show up where all the gold is. Yeah, no, it's probably not coincidental. Now, the U.S. wants troops on the ground in the region because that part of Somalia is not actually a part of the U.S.-backed federal government's control. And we know how the U.S. operates. If they're going to steal your resources, or if their allies are going to steal your resources, you have to be under their control, or they have to destabilize you. So, you know, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, some affiliated group shows up to your region, cause a bunch of havoc, and now the U.S. has a reason to bomb the shit out of your country, because the only way that you can save anybody is to bomb them into oblivion. Oh, but what's happening in Somalia, and specifically Puntland, is the perfect imperialist scam. You see, it just so happened that Somalia owes a shit ton of money to the UAE. Now, the reason they borrowed this money from the UAE was to build infrastructure, necessary infrastructure, for Somalia to thrive, and thrive using its own resources. In which case, they would use the money they gained from rebuilding their infrastructure to pay back the UAE. Now, if ISIS enters your country and starts destroying all the infrastructure that you borrowed all of this money to build, well, how are you going to use the money from the infrastructure that you were supposed to gain to pay back the country you owe? The answer is you can't. So you start making some backroom deals. Given all the money you owe, you're persuaded to expand your political relationship with the UAE so that it doesn't look suspicious when everybody finds out that most of the gold stolen and sold on the black market, specifically from Puntland, goes to the UAE. And the United States and the UAE being good allies as they are, of course the UAE can count on the United States to put some ISIS affiliates wherever needed so that that gold can be stolen and sold. And the U.S. itself has interests outside of gold in Puntland, given that there's some very suggestive evidence that there are a lot of untapped lithium deposits. And the U.S. needs that, considering that it's losing the contest against China regarding the lithium race. But sure, I'm entirely positive that this is totally about terrorism and not destabilizing the region. Once again, it's probably just coincidence that another area that happens to have a lot of resources just happens to have an ISIS affiliate in which the U.S. is now using as an excuse to be there, and then the U.S. and all of its allies get rich off the resources of that region. Once again, probably just coincidence.